Alright guys, so DoorDash Industries here with the 2021 earnings recap as well as the final week of the year, and we'll see where we finished for 2021. So let's jump right in, guys. Alright, so let's first deal with the final week of 2021 and how we finished and how we did. So this week was, to be honest with you, it was a challenging week. It was a shocking week, and it was absolutely, definitely not worked to the strategy that I believed I would be working when I did this last earnings recap, because my whole world got shocked to the core when the first day of the week, that would be Monday the 28th, I logged into my Spark app, and that video is already up. Hopefully you've watched it. If not, I'm going to tag it up here for everyone to see. So I recommend you jump in there and watch it. I'm not going to get into too many details, but it was a pretty shocking situation with Spark that led to my deactivation. So essentially, the entire strategy that I had went out the door. So what I ended up doing, in addition to the Spark issue, my babysitter continued to not be available. So I continued to have to grind it and work a slightly different strategy than I normally would have worked, and which resulted in longer hours, longer time out on the road. But I had to work a schedule that was conducive to allowing myself to include my smallest sidekick there, who could come out and help me and be there with me. So we focused primarily on Shipt. You're going to see there wasn't a lot of ride-alongs. There was only one ride-along film that was filmed on the 31st. I kind of just went into a shell shock situation. I was focused on trying to deal with the appeal process with Spark, and just didn't do much riding along filming or anything like that. I do have a lot of screenshots and stuff that I've not done much with, which I may do something with, I don't know, or I may not, but I think it was a really interesting week. So let's dive into the numbers here. The first 2 days of the week, 27th I was out due to the holiday, 28th I was planning to go out, didn't end up going out because I got the shock of Spark, dealt with that, got out there the next day on the 29th. Shifted our focus to Shipt and Instacart. So these numbers you're going to see are mostly driven by Shipt and Instacart. And our first day out ended up doing $165, drove 107 miles. We did 7 total deliveries. Our average delivery was $23.57. So you're going to see in here, one of the trends that you're going to see that is apparent is that we did maintain, or we were able to maintain, a pretty strong per order average. We averaged 15, but what goes up is our miles and our time. So just watch that here. 15.29 miles per order. We worked a whopping 411 minutes, 302 actual delivery minutes for a 73% work rate. Now we achieved on one of the days here a 100% work rate, and that's because of the nature of the business we were doing. So that day we hit our 100, and as you see here, we only worked 3 days and we made $400. So we well exceeded expectations. On the 30th, we were not out that day. I had to be off that day for some family obligations, unexpectedly. But then we got out on New Year's Eve, and we did $113.60. Now, although our work rate was there, we drove a phenomenal amount of miles. And again, that's something that I think we're going to have to continue to work on when we're doing these shops, because I ended up all over the place trying to make that money. But we drove 130 miles, did 7 orders again, and averaged $16.23 per order. And as you can see, the major difference there was the value in the orders that I received. And that was mainly because we did ship primarily that day. The previous day, you're seeing that comparison of when we added Instacart in there, there's a huge difference. We drove an average of 18 miles per order, okay? And we worked 404 minutes, so we worked about the same amount. It's all that the entire story of that day is in the average size of the order, and that's because we didn't get tipped on 4 orders, so in Shipt. And we delivered for 404 minutes. So for every minute we were out there, we were working the entire time, which was incredible. But unfortunately, it did not amount to the biggest day of the week. That was the 29th, and that held true. Now, on the 1st, which was a Saturday, that day went back to a more normalized approach. And you're going to see, though, we had our biggest mile day, though. Again, we were driving everywhere. Instacart played a big role in this day, along with UberEats. I don't believe we did any DoorDash at all, but we did some GrubHub. So we got back to our roots of GrubHubbing, Uber eating, and then, of course, we added in a newbie, although it's been around for a while, but a new player in the game of Instacart. So that day we made $128.44, drove 145 miles, only did 6 orders, but we had our second best average money per delivery day of $21.41. We drove an average of 24 miles per delivery. Now, a lot of this was because I was able to convert some of the commuting miles into delivery miles, because I took deliveries in markets I knew I was going to and had scheduled myself for. So all of those miles got factored in. Now you'll see this was the least amount of time we worked, 337 minutes. We delivered only for 259 minutes. So that day we had a 77% work rate, which is below 80. We wanted it 80 or more. So there was some room there that we could have possibly closed that gap. But there were some times there that we ended up floating around a little bit. So next, let's see here. Next, we on an hourly basis, we ended up with total time out. We averaged $21.21 of gross revenue generated per hour, and we were out for 19 hours, and we ended up with $25.31 of delivery time or work time for 16 hours worked, for a total work rate for the week of about 84%. So we ended up with a very strong work rate for the week because of that 100% day, and we ended up with over $25 gross revenue generated. So for a week, it wasn't bad, and we only did 3 days for the week. So for the month, because this was the last day of the month, we drove 1,077 for the month, made $1,637.70 monthly, or for the entire month. Did 88 deliveries, worked 61 hours, did 47 delivery hours. Our actual hourly average was $26.70, and our delivery hourly average was $34.77. And our average contract size was $18.61, and our miles to money ended up being $1.52. So I expect those numbers to fall because Spark is out of the equation. Although I'm hoping to be able to leverage Instacart and Shipt and get those things working for me more and try to do what I was doing with Spark. But I've got to find that sweet spot. You know, the thing that made Spark nice was that the Walmart I worked with was right near my house. And that is not the case with Spark or Instacart. It's going to make me drive. So let's jump into the year. So year-wise, how did we do for the year? We had set a goal for ourselves to make $19,000 for the year. It was an adjusted goal. I wanted 20, adjusted downward. How did we do? All right. So we did. Here's the rundown. $19,148.40 for the year. We hit that goal. We drove 16,965 miles to do that. We did 1,447 deliveries. We were 53 shy of doing 1,500 deliveries for the year, which is what I wanted to do. Our taxable income ended up being $8,871.19. Our 20% write-off was $1,774. Self-employed tax $180.55. Federal taxable income turned into $7,096.95. We generated $686.53 in business expenses. That were things bought for the business, and expenses related to the business. We had a $9,500.40 mileage deduction. We averaged $13.23 per delivery and did 11.72 miles. And per delivery, we ended up with $11.82 of spendable money. And we averaged $23.93.55 for our average gross monthly income per month that we worked. Our miles to money ended up at $1.13, and our average federal taxes ended up coming in at $1774.24. Our state taxes $454.21, and our net income we walked away with was at $17,100.51, and our average net monthly take home ended up being $2,137.56. So guys, not bad at all for a first year in the gig economy and operating a gig business. Obviously, the first 4 months of the year were pretty much non-existent. April was I was still working in April, so I was only doing it very part-time. And then there were some ebbs and flows in there. August, September, October, there were sports and things going on with my children that required me to be out of the area, out of the market. Got things humming again with Spark in November, and then December fell back into more normalized, but that was because of the holidays. Our goal in 2022 is going to be to earn $2,000 a month, every single month, gross revenue, and to take home at least $1,500 cash above everything else, and to try to keep expenses in line that allow us to do that. That's our goal. We want to have an average mile to money ratio of at least $1 or more. I think that's very achievable, and with a Prius, I think that is something that is not at all bad as far as because of the cost it cost me to operate the Prius. Like I said, it's going to be, although I have 8 months of data, there's a lot of differences in the data and a lot of noise in the numbers because Spark was there and now it's not, and we're just going to have to continue to plug along, continue to analyze the numbers, and continue to look at the data and see what it tells us. So for January, our goal this month is $2,000 gross revenue and at least $1,500 take home, and we're going to look to look at it on a weekly basis. On a weekly basis, that will mean I will need to be out 20 days. 20 out of the 31 days I will need to work, because my goal is to make $100 in gross revenue per day. That is my goal, and that to me is a great place to start if you're in the gig economy. $100 just seems to be the number, and it seems to be the faster you can break 100, the faster you get to 200, and the faster you can turn what started out as just an okay day, it can become a phenomenal day. Your strategy should be built around cracking that first 100, and then whatever you did there, it's just going to flow. Just the energy is going to take you over, and you should be trying, obviously, to do it within 4 hours, but your goal is to do it quicker. And then when that happens, use that excess time to start building. And then if you want to put in some extra time, or you have some extra time and you're at $150, man, you're shooting for 200. And that can either be looked at as a day off, or it can be looked at just to help put extra money in your pocket if you need it. And even if you're doing this full time, I think $100 is truly the benchmark that you should be setting everything up around. It's a very achievable number, and I think that is the first and foremost most important thing when you're setting a goal, is to make it achievable and to get that achievement early, and that momentum and that energy from hitting that goal early on is going to really carry you through and can take good days and make them great. All All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this breakdown. I'll be back next week to go over the numbers again, see how we did for the first week of the year, see if we get out to a fast start. We've got 7 days this week. I believe we're gonna have 4 working weeks. So that means I'm gonna have to be out 5 out of 7 days 5 out of 7 days to hit my 2,000. So we'll see how we do and see if we can make that happen, or I'm gonna have to have some days be over $100. So let's see how we do it. Let's see where we're tracking. Let's see what's going on. And I'll be back to talk to you next week, guys. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and share my videos with anybody who is starting in the gig economy. Anybody's got questions about it, put your own comments in there. I love talking and interacting. Those who have commented, thank you so much. I believe I've tried to get back to everybody. If I haven't yet, I'm going to. It's been very crazy and hectic. But guys, right now I'm telling you, if you're watching this video, thank you so much for your comments, interaction, tips, tricks, and strategies. I love it. It's exactly what we need to do. It helps me greatly. And like I said, my goal here is to share with you my experience, and hopefully from that you get something that can help your experience be better. All right, guys, I'll be talking to you soon.